There's a lot that they don't tell you when it comes to being a real estate agent. My name is McKeown, and I'm a licensed agent in the state of Florida and in Texas. And today I'm going to be discussing with you guys what it really looks like to be a real estate agent. So let's jump right into it, guys. First things first, obviously, most of you should be aware that if you want to get your real estate license, you have to pass a certain amount of courses and then a final state and national level exam. Now, in the state of Texas, we are unfortunately the most difficult state to get your real estate license. We require 180 hours. Now, comparatively to the state of Florida, which I just most recently got licensed in, is only 63 hours to pass your courses. Now, the true cost of this is going to vary depending on if you are in person or if you are virtual. Also, I will tell you a lot of the virtual classes are quite unbearable, and they are oftentimes probably going to put you to sleep, but they're going to be the cheapest option when it comes to getting licensed. The prices will vary, obviously, state by state and all over the country, but you're looking at probably a couple $100 all the way north to maybe about $1,000 if you're talking full in-person classes. Now, the courses itself, such as Texas, may take quite a bit longer than other states such as Florida, but for the most part, the courses are not difficult. There is quite a low barrier of entry to get your real estate license. Now, on the flip side, the state and national exams certainly aren't going to be a breeze, and certainly aren't going to be a breeze for people that struggle to take tests. For instance, myself, I may have a math degree, but I absolutely despise taking exams. I didn't even pass the state exam for Florida recently. Fail! When I was getting my Florida license, but if you are able to get past that, at that point, you're a licensed agent. So that's it, guys. You've got your real estate license and you're successful. That's not quite how it works. To be honest with you guys, for a majority of folks, that's not how it works at all. I've actually got a quite alarming statistic here for you guys. 93% of those agents that get licensed do not renew after their first 2 years. So let's say you're in a class of about 100 agents that are all looking to get their real estate license. Only about 7 of those 100 are actually going to continue and pursue this career beyond just those initial first 2 years. Now, I'm blessed to be one of the individuals that has continued on and continued to sell real estate. I'm just about to renew my license for, I guess, technically the 3rd time, which would push me between years 6 and 8. But as you can see, statistically, I certainly wasn't favored to continue to do this profession. So what do they not tell you about being a real estate agent? What they certainly don't tell you is how long it takes to be successful or how long it takes to even get paid. Well, if you got your real estate license today, probably best case scenario is you get paid next month or maybe within 60 days. To give you guys my story, I got licensed at the beginning of July in 2017, and I didn't collect my first paycheck almost until November of 2017. Now, I can give you a lot of examples where people hit the ground running a lot faster than I did, but also on the flip side, I can give you plenty of people because I actually used to sponsor new real estate courses where I get to network with people. They are interested maybe in joining my brokerage after they've passed their real estate course. I check in with them every 3, 6, 9, 12 months maybe, and before you know it, they haven't sold a house and they're right back to what they were doing before. So really, it's going to vary from person to person when it comes to being successful. I was fortunate enough to find a route in real estate that elevated me pretty quickly to leave my full-time profession within 12 months. Now, there are other people that take a lot longer to transition to full-time. Now, myself, I actually wanted to do about 3 to 5 years of real estate before I gave up my entire profession of teaching and coaching because I had gone to school for such a long amount of time and even had a master's degree in education that it wasn't something I wanted to give up so quick. My progression in sales stemmed really probably from 3 million in 2017 to about 9 million in 2018, jumping up to about 14 million in 2019 and a little over 21 million in 2020. And then in 2021, hitting about 23 million and 26 million last year, plus I guess another 10 million on top of that if you want to include the amount that I actually had closed from my real estate team. Now, as far as that production alone, I could actually film an entire video explaining all the reasons why I was able to kind of build my real estate business so quickly. But I would say one of the biggest reasons I found success so quickly was I was able to understand that in order to earn income, I really needed to spend income. So as far as what they don't tell you, make sure you're being smart when it comes to your finances. This can be a great opportunity to really change your life when it comes to being a real estate agent. But if you're not smart with your finances, you'll be in and out of this business quicker than you had ever anticipated. Now, if you aren't licensed right now and you're looking to get licensed, you may be questioning whether or not you want to maybe go part-time or maybe go full-time. And my kind of scenario is a little of the two combined, I guess you could say. I definitely err more towards part-time initially, keeping that full-time job to allow you to continue to pay your bills and not rely solely on the income generated from real estate. Because once again, it took me over 4 months to get my initial first commission check. And really that commission check just paid off all the expenses that I incurred really over the first 4 or 5 months of being licensed. So if you have that full-time job and doing real estate on the side, it's gonna take a little bit longer to build your business up, but at least you're not jumping into the deep end, drowning, and going right back to your old job. Now for me, I actually was a high school teacher and a wrestling coach for that first really 12 months of being licensed. The good news about being a teacher is really during wrestling practices, which was multiple times a day, I was able to pull out my phone, text clientele. I also had 2 conference periods. We were on block schedule, so I had one day and then another conference the next day. I was able to walk out really off campus and go meet with clientele during that 90-minute block period. Not that I necessarily was supposed to, but I was doing what I had to, really to work full-time as a real estate agent and still work full-time as a high school wrestling coach and math teacher. Also, when it comes to jumping in full-time, I really didn't have a routine as a self-employed individual for really the first 18 months I was licensed. And then in the summer of 2018, I went full-time and really didn't have any kind of consistency for the rest of 2018, but I was still able to close a decent amount of deals. But it wasn't until 2019 where I finally got into a good routine, understood what a morning routine was, understood the amount of work and effort that it takes to be consistent. Now, I certainly wouldn't say I was an overnight success when it comes to real estate, but I did put a ton of hours of work, especially in my first 3 years of being licensed. I'll give you guys an example. Maybe if we're talking about, let's say, restaurants, for example, okay? If I decided to open up a restaurant and did no marketing, didn't let anyone know what I was doing, and just kind of put up a grand opening on a Friday afternoon for some Italian place in the suburbs. I may have a couple people drive by and maybe have a couple people come in, but I'm certainly not gonna be profitable, and it's gonna take a lot of word of mouth really to get my name out there in order for my restaurant to be successful. But let's use the other side of things. Let's say I opened up a Starbucks on the corner of a busy intersection, didn't do any marketing, didn't do any kind of announcement, and just opened up on a Friday afternoon. Just like any other Starbucks, there would be a line out the door to get whatever is needed. Now, the reason behind this is reputation and hours worked. Just like any other chain restaurant or any kind of large business, it snowballs over time. And I can tell you, real estate will do the very same thing for you if you continue to put in consistent work. And while using Starbucks as an example, 1971 is when the first Starbucks actually opened, and it wasn't until 11 years after that to where they actually started to see a substantial amount of success. Now, I may not be the biggest Starbucks fan, but there are a ton of you out there that frequent Starbucks probably on the daily, if not weekly basis. There's a reason why you go to Starbucks. You know what you're gonna get. You know what you're gonna get with consistency. You also likely have a relationship with Starbucks, and that ties down into how I have been able to find a lot of success in real estate. And that's because I've been able to find my niche, which initially was investors. Out the gate, really being an investor myself and already having a property under my belt, which was my duplex with my VA loan. It instills that automatic level of trust, being the fact that I am not only their agent, but I am also an investor that invests as well. So they can trust me that, hey, this guy knows what he's doing because he already has a property under his belt. I can't tell you how many times I actually talk to real estate agents that say they are the investor-friendly real estate agent, and I'm like, oh, cool, what's your portfolio look like? Oh, I haven't invested in real estate just yet. And let's be frank, guys, if you wanted to take your kid to a soccer practice and found out that the soccer coach had never played soccer, would you want to continue to pay that soccer coach to teach your kid how to play soccer? More than likely, probably not. I know I wouldn't. So initially it was investors. I was able to help a ton of people in the market in DFW back in 2017 to 2019, when it was certainly a more affordable market and investing in our market was kind of foolproof at that point. I would say all of my purchases when it comes to investment properties from 2017 have all made me 6 figures at the minimum. But as time kind of progressed, I realized that relationships just as a whole were key here. I had to find different niches, such as myself being a Marine. I also started connecting with other veterans as well. I had a ton of experience utilizing my VA loan twice, so being able to help other people that may have no experience utilizing their VA loan, it gave them that level of comfort with me. And then on top of that, I started to network with agents across the country, started referring buyers out to other agents in other markets, and in turn, I started getting people that would refer me clients in my local Dallas-Fort Worth market of Texas. Now, what a lot of people actually won't tell you is that, yes, in real estate, you need to niche down. The reason for this, let's just use my specific market, the Dallas-Fort Worth market, where you're talking tens of millions of people and endless amounts of real estate transactions. You need to be able to connect with people and need to be able to have actual relationships with your clientele in order for them to continue to use you in the future. Let's say you got licensed and you just decided to start doing open houses, door knocking, cold calling, utilizing social media, making YouTube videos. There's no way you're going to be able to find success because you're spread so thin. Social media is really where I put all of my focus. And the reason for that is the amount of reach and potential that you can have. Now, the reason why I love real estate is there's not one route to being successful. For instance, if I wanted to, and maybe I was better on the phone and I loved, phone sales, maybe if I had some prior experience in it, I could call for sale by owners, I could call expired listings, I could door knock. But just approaching people that don't necessarily want to be approached wasn't really my forte. I could even remember back to when I was a kid and I'd have to go around the neighborhood and ask if they could sponsor me, and I would just quit. I didn't enjoy doing it. Now, when it comes to social media and just kind of putting out content and allowing people to either consume it or just pass it on by, and I don't have to deal with that individual that just passed my content on by. But for the folks that actually consume my content and actually enjoy it, that's where I get a lot of my passion and drive from. But one thing that they won't tell you about social media, and this is really for owning any business, not just being a licensed real estate agent, is holy moly. The amount of time that I actually spend on social media is probably not healthy. I'll be quite frank with you guys, but it's also a main source of the way I generate business. I would say most days I'm spending north of 10, 12, maybe 14 hours on my phone. But there's also a reason why I sold $26 million in real estate last year and had the best year I've ever had. So if you are looking to get your real estate license or get into real estate altogether, or maybe even you're a newly licensed real estate agent yourself, remember that real estate is not a one-size-fits-all type of job. On top of that, it's going to require a ton of work to be successful. Finding a routine, being in a consistent routine, and understand that the work that you're putting in now is not going to get you paid tomorrow. It's going to get you paid down in the future. So make sure that if you do, regardless if you go part-time or full-time, make sure you're aware of the situation you're getting yourself into. Otherwise, this is going to be a very quick and painful profession to try to attempt. Thanks again for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help. And stay tuned for the next video.